Good Thursday afternoon, guys. I'm Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love CVille Show. Thank you for joining us on a glorious Thursday to be above the mud. I mean, it's perfect outside in Central Virginia. Of course, we're live in Charlottesville, Elmore County, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille Network. We'll give some props and some praise to one of our favorite clients, Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Integrated Medicine. Dr. Wagner has been a client of ours for nearly 10 years when he was in a previous location and had 4 team members. Now he has close to 40 team members, owns a heck of a lot of real estate, and is opening other brands and businesses thanks to the success of Scott Wagner Integrated Medicine. We also thank Ting Fiber Internet for being a part of the show. Ting Fiber Internet is crazy fast internet. It's the best in Charlottesville. We switched from Xfinity to Ting, and we've never looked back on the I Love CVille Network. Today's show, I think, is going to be awesome. Our friend Valorie Easter is in the mix. Aaron King, one of Western Albemarle's finest, already giving props to another of Western Albemarle's finest, and Valorie Easter. If you want to give Valorie some props and praise, just put it in the feed. Vanessa Parkhill, welcome to the broadcast. I'm sure your circle of friends and your network has intermingled with Valerie's circle of friends and network. So Judah's our director. Why don't we go to the studio camera, J-Dubs, and let's welcome Valorie to the show, who immediately makes the set and the network a lot more beautiful. How are you, Valorie?
I'm good. I also can't complain about the weather. So
it's great.
Yeah, it's amazing. This is a rare day in the end of June. So.
Oh, right?
Yes.
Not humid?
No, and it's nice. I mean, it was kind of chilly this morning.
Yeah?
So, I mean, I was up at 5:30, so.
You're always up at 5:30?
Yes, unfortunately.
So were you up at 5:30 because of your kids or because of putting out fires or both?
Just woke up with a ton on my mind.
Okay.
So there's a lot going on with businesses going on, and it's exciting. It's all exciting. So it's kind of that like little crunch time where we have about 2 months of pedal to the metal and no breaks. And for the past, I want to say like 2 or 3 weeks, it's kind of been that way. So we've just been busy, busy, busy. And then hopefully by the end of the summer, things will calm down. But it's all good. Just biz between the Uncle Yogi's, the caddy, and the real estate and short-term rentals and
the mom, the short-term rentals,
spring or summer vacation, and kids out of school.
Would you have it any other way?
No, I mean, I don't know what I would do.
You'd be bored.
I'd be bored.
And a bored Val is not a happy Val.
No, a bored Val gets a lot better at golf.
Oh,
so,
yeah?
Yes.
How's the golf game?
It's not bad. Okay. I actually did
you got a boyfriend that was in the golf business, so you better be good.
Yeah. Well, I actually went, Rob McNamara has come over to Keswick, and so they had a ladies' clinic that I signed up for that's the whole month of June. Okay. And he, super tiny, subtle thing he taught me yesterday that will completely change.
What was that?
Just my lineup, because on my drive, you typically have your drive in front, the ball in front of your feet.
Off your front foot.
Off your front foot, but with my back, it was messing up my alignment with my shoulders, so I just bring it back into my stance, and it stops my spraying out to the right. So a huge change. I mean, it seemed something so simple that I've tried to adjust with alignment, and I've tried to pull my shoulder back, but with the back injury, it's just not possible. So that simple, tiny little thing. And he said shoulders are 80%, feet alignment are only about 20%.
So you bring the ball back in your stance on the tee. And
so my shoulders stay straight. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because it kept my shoulders. Because if you think if the ball's in front of your stance, your shoulder is pulled forward, or mine was because of my back. And so this alignment is aligning out to the left. So to compensate, my ball slices out to the right. But if I pull it back, then I'm able to come through the ball at my shoulder alignment. It was just a tiny little thing that took him 2 seconds, and it's like completely changed stuff. So
so I live in that neck of the woods. How's the new and improved Keswick looking?
It's getting close.
Yeah, is it fully
looks
open?
Really good. No. It's,
so this has been a renovation in the works.
Years.
Yeah.
Yep, it's been years worth of renovation, but the course has always been great. And what I love about
Pete died?
Pete Dye course.
Okay.
And what I love about the Keswick course is you can always play. Like, you can always walk on. And I know a lot of people, my father came over from Farmington to Keswick.
Jeff Easter.
Yeah, because I think
NC State football?
NC State, Lou Holtz.
Yeah.
Because there's 2,700 golf members at Farmington.
Okay. 2,700?
2,700. So he couldn't get, tee times were tough. And so he switched over. I think they're offering a special for a second club membership. Keswick.
I saw that.
Yeah, and it's very reasonable.
That's what I thought.
And they're going to be doing like state-of-the-art pickleball facility, which was big because my dad and his wife play a ton of pickleball in Florida, and they've been playing up here.
Okay.
But that was one of the big things that they wanted, so that was something that was important to them. And
where's that going to open?
I don't know.
Is it going to be on the red clay courts?
I don't think so. I don't think it. I mean, that would be interesting.
That'd be tough because the ball won't bounce that well.
Yeah, so I'm curious where it's going to be, but there's a lot of real estate out there to do stuff with. So
did you see that Greencroft has built 8 courts?
I did, and my dad had talked about that for so long. He was like, Greencroft should do something like that, and then lo and behold,
they did it.
They did it
to stimulate some engagement.
Yep, and I had never played before until.
I bet you loved it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's so. Just
you're
fast.
athletic.
And yeah, it's hard for me not to hit it too hard. And it's funny because there's all these like little tricks and nuances to pickleball that I had no idea. And then my brother-in-law, so this was funny. So we go down, and he's apparently been watching YouTube videos.
Okay.
So he's looking up.
I watched the YouTube videos.
You
as
did?
Well. Yes.
Yeah. So I hadn't.
I'm
but
absolutely
he had all these...
addicted to this sport. I'm playing like 5 nights a week.
Well, Jeff is awesome.
Okay.
But he
Your
has
dad.
my brother-in-law, Jeff. I've got 2 Jeffs.
Your brother-in-law is also named
Yes.
Jeff? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But he's really good. And he played soccer at Delaware. Was that the Game Hens?
Yeah.
He was
the Blue Hens.
Blue Hens,
yeah.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
He was a Blue Hen. So he's athletic.
So you our age?
He is.
Okay.
Yep, but he's down in Florida. But Jeff's great. So it was really fun because we all got to play. Martell.
Okay.
So we all got to, play. It was a family thing. The kids go out and play, and it's fun for them. And Aubrey and Zane fight, and the typical kids stuff. So, but yeah, so it's exciting. I'll be curious to see what Keswick does with that and where it goes, and maybe I'll play a little bit more.
It is literally the fastest growing sport in America, pickleball. But we digress. I want to talk everything that's cooking and percolating in your world. Yeah. I'm literally going to adapt to you.
Okay.
We've done no planning, no pre-production. Where do you want to start?
So, real estate.
Okay.
So I've been doing real estate since really 2004.
Okay.
And I started off as a mortgage broker, was a mortgage broker for 6 years. At the time, so I got my license for real estate in 2005, and you could do both.
Okay.
In Florida, because I started in Florida. Moved back to Virginia, market crashed, there was all that fraud and stuff going on, so you couldn't do both at that point. So I just focused on real estate. And, a couple years ago, it was 2018, I made a conscious decision to buy one new property a year to be a short-term rental.
Okay.
And so
how do you characterize short-term rental?
So it has to be, so the laws are different wherever you are.
Okay.
So a short-term rental is anything less than 30 days. Some areas say 30 days. So I think Charlottesville's 31 nights for the city of Charlottesville.
Okay.
So anything under that. So if you have, a day a week, if you have 3 weeks, if you have 29 days, it's considered a short-term rental. Anything over that is long-term rental. So I started with the house in Richmond because I was living there, but then I would have to come back when the kids had school. Luckily, with all the COVID stuff, I didn't have to do as much of that. But I started just Airbnb-ing that when I went out, and it's walking distance to the Siegel Center, right by VCU campus. I completely lucked out. One day I was on, I hate to say it, Zillow.
Okay.
But I was looking because sometimes stuff comes up that's not listed in the MLS, and there was an auction, and it was ending in like 3 hours.
Okay.
And it was a great deal, but I couldn't see the inside of the property. I
love this story.
Yeah, I couldn't see the
bought
inside.
it sight unseen.
Yeah, completely sight unseen. And I bid against myself.
You're such a, whoa, you never told me that part.
Yeah, because I could have gotten it for like 180, but I put in like my max bid.
Okay.
And I thought that it would just like take it up, like if other people bid.
So this is good knowledge here for people who are watching. So you offered the max bid from the beginning. Obviously,
well, I'd put in my 180,
Okay.
and then it asked me about bidding again for, and I thought it was asking for my max bid.
Okay.
So then I put in my max bid, which was like 202 something, and then that's where it stuck, and that's what I bought it for.
So the auctioneer knew
There's
that they had this back pocket 202.
Yeah, it was just the Zillow computer auctioneer.
Oh, Zillow.
But,
Okay,
yeah.
got it. So
Yeah.
maybe 22K, 180 versus 202.
I know.
See, she's so burnt about that 22K.
I am.
But the thing is, look how amazing this property turned out.
It did. So I, through time, I decorated. I used a lot of art pieces from Latazza in there.
She did it herself.
I did it myself.
Yeah.
I have a big a big sailfish on the wall, and it became an Airbnb Plus listing, which gets bumped up in the search engines, and it makes. I mean, for the past couple months, it's making about $9,000 a month.
Damn.
$7,000 to $9,000 a month.
And what's the monthly nut on that?
My mortgage is like $1,200.
Jesus.
So yeah.
So you're what, like 8xing your mortgage?
Yeah.
7.75xing your mortgage?
Yeah. It's
so
crazy.
is Richmond so much cooler with the Airbnbs than this area?
Richmond doesn't have I get emails all the time because they do not have a definitive short-term rental plan
So
yet.
like a homestay ordinance?
No, not yet.
Okay.
It's coming, but I know that they're saying that it has to be a primary residence, which I have a deed restriction on that particular house, so it has to be my primary residence anyway.
Okay. And what's that defined by?
You have to have a driver's license there or a voting card there.
Okay.
So
Easy to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we have that. And you have to reside there for like 160 days or something.
Easy to do.
Easy to do, but not sure how they can prove it because all the bills are all in my name anyway. So that house has been doing great. And then I wanted to get something closer to Charlottesville, but I wanted to find, so the next year, so buy the house 1 year.
That was 2018.
2018,
So
2019.
1 year, 1 property a year.
Yep.
Okay.
So 2019, I want to buy something closer in Charlottesville, but Pantops area closer to Richmond, so I can jump on 64 and run up pretty quickly.
Pavilions at Pantops?
Nope. So I find this house that had been on the market for 3 years.
Okay.
Duplex.
Okay. Whereabouts? No, without telling me the address.
Locust Grove.
Okay.
So
Sure.
it's like it's like everybody knows that big monstrosity of a construction, Tractor Supply, CVS, right off of River Road.
Okay.
So we're like the first house overlooking we had great views until like yesterday.
Because of the construction.
They built it up. We fought it, but apparently something was slipped in for an elevator shaft that took the height up higher than what was allowed, and it's just
It's actually my mentor building that property right there. So
Yeah.
that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, I mean, we knew it was coming, and it's going to be better. And it's actually really private for that house. But so with that purchase, I actually ended up buying essentially 2 units because it's a duplex.
Sure.
So we've been Airbnb-ing that basement. And the biggest thing with the Airbnb there is I don't like people there all the time. And so it's mainly just booked on the weekends. Sometimes we'll get traveling nurses in. Sometimes it's week people in town for something and for, visiting professor, and then they go on. But that pays, that's probably like $3,000 a month coming with that. Just a studio. Like it's not even a bedroom with a door on it. I think it's like 850 square feet.
Man.
So, got that one. And then, the upstairs is like a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath with the 200 square foot detached studio, which we'll get to that one. We'll go through the line of stuff.
The flip book.
Yeah. So then the next year, so this was last year, now I'm looking for something in the kids' school district.
Okay.
Which is
Western?
Western, not Meriwether, Western and Henley, which I guess it's all now. But originally his name was at Brownsville. So we were looking for Brownsville, but we ended up finding a 10-acre parcel that had 2 houses on it. So it was actually 8 acres in one house and 2 acres in another.
Okay.
So the reason why it couldn't be separated was because they shared a well.
Okay.
So we, and it was like in the forest. And I was at the house and I was on the deck and I was like, man, I think there's really good views here. And my dad and Art were like, no, I don't see it. Like, I just don't see it. And I was like, I'm pretty sure there's like amazing views here. And so we bought the house. We got a great deal on it because of the condition.
Okay. So what are we
of
talking?
Both.
Can I ask?
Yeah, we paid $385. I mean, it's all public.
Yeah, it's public.
Yeah.
$385 for 10 acres?
They were asking $425.
$385 for 10 acres in Western with 2 structures on it?
Yeah.
Damn.
It was a great deal. We are sinking a lot of money into it.
But so let's say you put $100K into it.
I wish.
$250,000? Okay. It helps that your father is a contractor.
I'll put it this way, we put about $60,000 into the little one. Okay. Which we completely gutted it and redid it. Okay. So that is a short-term rental. And it's a 1-bedroom and it's going for about $315 a night.
Really?
It's booked all the time.
Get out of town. Midweek?
Midweek. If somebody's there for a week now, they're visiting vineyard. They're doing a vineyard study or something.
They do $350 a night for 7 days?
Yeah.
Damn.
So they're all doing really, really well. And so now, I have a piece of property so we bought the Airstream. Okay. And the Airstream
is a traveling mobile home.
It is Is
that good description?
It's like a tuna can.
Okay.
that you pull behind. But this is a triple axle, 34-foot, 1987 Excella is the Airstream.
So it's super dope.
It's awesome. And so we've been redoing the interior of it, but we haven't had anywhere to put it, and I have a lot. Okay. And so we've been going back and forth with getting power to the lot, but it has to have a structure. So in order to, I have to have the plans. So now we're going to use the same plans from the little cabin off of Box Holly to do the cabin at the lot. But here's what's happening now. So I'm selling, the Richmond house is going under contract today, luckily, and I'm just going to take that cash to build a little cabin up on the lot. So
An additional structure?
An additional structure. So then we'll be able to have both of those renting, but we'll probably end up moving the Airstream, to be honest, because Albemarle's laws are a little bit different with structures like that. And so we're looking to do a place like maybe out in Nelson, because if it has agricultural zoning, you can do all kinds of different things, from like winery, vineyards, wedding venues, like all kinds of stuff with that zoning. So what we're thinking about doing is then doing kind of a little Airstream RV community with cabins interdispersed in, because if you think about it, you're getting the same price per night for an Airstream as you're getting, which is a, let's say $50,000 purchase. Ours wasn't that much, but we got a great deal. But like, say you did pay that much for it, so you're getting what, $250, $295 a night for people to sleep in an Airstream. Yeah. Versus a house, you're paying $200, $250 for to get the same amount of rent.
So you're basically saying you can get 4 Airstreams at the price of 1 house.
Yep.
And you can maintain the same daily Airbnb price point as the house, depending on the outfitting of the Airstream.
Yeah. And
that is legit.
It's
so
crazy.
You're creating, is this what you're creating? I'm going to ask. Are you creating the mobile home or trailer park of Airbnb rentals?
I'm working on it.
Is that what
I
that
have
is?
like a lot of inspiration. There's like a bunch of different places out.
Did you hear that, everybody? Did you just hear that? That is brilliant. That is brilliant.
But I'd love to have places like, the little place, the Rivanna River Company, like what Sonny and Gabe have down there. Yeah. Like that would be a great spot for something like that. And because they're mobile, so you don't have to worry about flood zones should anything happen, because you can move them.
Sure.
But I know the city would never,
Charlottesville
ever
never allow
do anything like that.
Probably Albemarle County would not either. Yeah.
No.
Nelson is pro-business.
They're way pro-business.
Yeah.
And I wish that Charlottesville was a little bit more progressive, because people want to come here and experience.
Progressive in the way of business.
In the way of business.
Okay.
Because
we're gonna
people,
stipulate that.
yeah.
Okay.
Because people want to come here and experience Albemarle County in a different way than you're going to get at
a hotel,
Holiday Inn.
Yeah, no doubt.
And because our county and our outlying areas are so beautiful, but when you're stuck Barracks Road or Pantops or up 29, like there's really, that's not even close to any of that stuff. And there's nothing in Crozet.
So
really.
the Airstream Airbnb epicenter.
It'd be awesome. I mean, and you could do, Devil's Backbone's done a little bit of it with their Airstreams, and they've got, the brewery and everything there. But there's just so many great things that you could do that, like, once you're in the, glamping, it's really not like glamping. Like, you're in a house.
Right.
And we even talked about building, like, a main house that has, like, a industrial kitchen that guests could use, and like a bathhouse that was really nice, because I went years and years ago, I went to the British Virgin Islands, and we did a sailboat trip for like a week or a week and a half. And all of those places where you tie up, so you'll tie up and then you take the dinghy in and you go, and they've got these beautiful bathrooms. So you can shower, you don't have to get like in the little tiny boat shower, and it's like a spa in there. So doing something where you have, a centralized house, so you can take a shower if you want in the tiny, if you want to be authentic. But I mean, it would be fun. I mean, I think it'd be a cool thing for people just to experience that, and but still be out in nature. And solar panels, like all of those little Airstreams and RVs, they run off of that. So you have, your footprint that you're creating is very small. So it's in the works.
Michelle Snow giving you some props right now. Aaron says, "Hey girl, hey." You do have the, it looks like the Pro Shop in Farmington watching the show as we speak right now. Welcome, Farmington, to the show. If you want to, Johnny Ornalis, who owns Guadalajara JPA and El Mariachi, just shared the show. What's up, Johnny? Andre, hello. If you want to give Val some props, put it in the feed. So you got, I remember you saying this to me years ago, and I've heard this from some other folks that were in the realtor space, that you were getting frustrated of trading time for money.
Yeah.
And it seems like you're pretty much figuring that out.
Yeah, because you have to create other passive income streams. Because if you're just grinding it out with real estate every single day, you're not thinking of your future. And especially with real estate, unless you own a real estate company.
Right, and you have folks working
and have
for
people
the
working for you.
Right.
When you're done, you have no income stream coming in, like nothing. So you have to start, putting yourself first and start thinking about your own personal investments. And it literally takes just putting your mind to it and being uncomfortable for a little bit. Like, we're uncomfortable right now, and we're about to be really uncomfortable because we are packing up our house.
So you're uncomfortable from, like, quality of life, not necessarily uncomfortable
quality of life.
From, like...
Quality of life. So this is what's getting ready to happen.
Yeah.
So the cabin is hopefully going to be finished I'm hoping by the kids' school.
Okay.
Around in there. So
Is that your primary residence?
It will be.
Okay.
So what we're thinking is that what we were planning. So we've packed up our house. We've packed up all of our stuff and we've stuck it in the studio.
Okay.
And like Arthur's packing up the basement now. We're getting rid of.
Arthur's her guy.
Yeah. So he's getting, like, we have a broken shop vac. We have bicycles that need to be donated, like all kinds of stuff like that. So our goal is that July 1st, we're going down to Florida to visit my family. We're getting an RV and we're not coming back.
Until it's done.
Until it's done.
Until school starts.
Yeah. So our house has been being rented already. Yeah. So we've already gotten bookings with the
You're such a badass.
upstairs, and it's cool. Like I was telling you earlier that we had a booking because it was like $2,100 for 3 nights. So that's just for the upstairs because it sleeps 10.
Vanessa Parkhill, the Airstream Park is a brilliant idea. Valorie, Albemarle needs to figure out how to make this happen. How about you characterize, without getting yourself into too much trouble, because the board of supervisors and city council watches often, the difficulties of entrepreneurship in Albemarle and the city of Charlottesville. Because
it's hard. So
many people come on the show and say the bureaucracy and red tape is so infuriating and really keeps you from doing things here.
Mm-hmm. You get triple taxed, I feel like.
How so?
Well, I had to move all of my business to Richmond.
Okay.
All of it. Because with your business license here in Charlottesville, you're getting taxed federally, you're getting state with your income, and then you're also getting taxed by the locality.
Yeah, and the locality is asking you pay taxes on gross receipts in the first half of Q1.
Yeah.
So you're projecting gross receipts taxes for the whole year, and the opportunity cost of that money is great.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Yeah, and it's hard because, like, especially, and I know as I was growing my business and getting to that point, by the time you pay your taxes, you're like, wow, I made all this money and like nothing's
it's like,
left.
where did it go?
Yeah, because you're paying all of these expenses and you don't get to write all that stuff off.
Right.
For them.
Sure.
For the city of Charlottesville. So it's just.
How does Richmond do it?
They don't.
Richmond doesn't, they just ask for a business license?
For real estate, you have your real estate license with DPOR.
Okay, so, walk me through this. Educate me, please.
So my real estate license is through the Department of Occupational Regulation, which is based in Richmond. And so you just put your license where, so my office is in Richmond.
Okay.
And so there's no additional regulations for that.
Really?
We don't have to do, we're regulated, we're with the state already. So we're already there.
Is Albemarle the same way as Charlottesville? Get out.
And then when I moved my license, there was because they tried to make me pay all this money to the state, and I was like, no. And they said, well, you sell real estate in Albemarle. I was like, I sell in Greene, Flavanna, Henrico, Richmond,
everywhere,
all over Nelson. I was like, so do I pay all the taxes for all of those places too?
Yeah.
I was like, that doesn't make sense.
Right, it's not reasonable.
Yeah. So it's been, frustrating because I get it. Like, I get Charlottesville wants their hand in the cookie jar. Yeah. But as a, small business owner, it's hard. So.
So what advice would you give to folks that want to start a business in Charlottesville? Besides, don't do it. Besides, you can't say don't do it.
Oh, man.
Because some people do want to do that.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you just have to. And you just kind of have to bite the bullet and set stuff aside. And, I mean, if that's where you have to be, because Charlottesville's a great place to do business. Albemarle is a great place to live. I mean, you can't. It's undeniable. So sometimes you have to make those sacrifices in order to be where you want to be. And you're just going to have to budget for it.
Your Ma Dukes is watching.
Oh, yay.
Is she in Florida? What's up,
Melissa?
She's in Florida. She says, can't wait to go scalloping.
Yeah, she sent me a link because it's scallop season. We were going to go to Crystal River. So
she is absolutely amazing. Melissa, you actually came up with your friend Beth Marcus.
Yep.
Was having beverages and dinner with Beth and another one of her friends, and she was singing your praises on Monday evening. Melissa, Charlottesville misses you, Melissa.
But it was hard for her. I mean, that's just
La Tasa.
La Tasa was really hard.
Yeah.
And we've gone back because I'm on a lot of the Richmond dining sites, and people complain. Like, a lot of employees aren't coming back because
they found new careers.
Low wages. But the thing is that if you increase your food like 50 cents so you can pay your employees higher wages, all the customers flip out. Right. But then the customers are like, they've got poor work conditions because of low wages. It's like, it's because you guys can't pay 50 cents more for a breakfast burrito.
Do you think, I mean, we get it. We're we're business owners here. Do you think folks truly realize what's happening with like the restaurants and the fact that if this $15 wage, which in Charlottesville is becoming a reality, add a $15 an hour wage to inflation and the cost of goods going through the roof.
Look at the meat costs right now, like all of that stuff. The cucumbers, I laughed about the cucumbers, but
I mean, a sandwich is going to be $19 really soon. Do you think folks truly understand what's happening here?
No. And I mean, you can fight for it, but then you are paying for it, right? So you just have to make sure that you know exactly what you're fighting for.
Sure.
And
so she's basically saying, and we don't have a dog in the fight here. She's basically saying we all want folks to have a living wage and be able to live in the community they work in. But if we're proponents of a living wage and people getting 15 bones an hour, then we also have to be willing to pay $19 a sandwich to keep our small businesses open.
Yeah, because otherwise it is not possible. Like,
right?
It's just not possible. And it's...
Okay, and I don't want you to speak for your mom here because she's watching. Could Latassa, which you know I love Latassa, could Latassa and that model have opened in 2021 in Charlottesville, in Belmont?
No, they couldn't have opened. And if they would have opened, I mean, people would have come in, one time, and then all of the reviews would have been that everything was too expensive, and somebody would have gotten mad about some sort of service, and then, nobody would have come back, and then they would have disappeared. Just like you see a ton of businesses, a lot of what's happening in Charlottesville. And it's not just isolated to Charlottesville either. I see it in Richmond. I see it all over the place. And it's just because, I mean, it's
To put this in perspective, Bell is in the place where Latassa was in Belmont. My wife and our son went to Bell for brunch. And we each got is it Croque Madame? We each got a Croque Madame, my wife and I, iced coffee, both of us. My son got a donut and a juice. 2 Croque Madames, 2 iced coffees, a donut, and a juice. Do you want to guess what the price tag was?
Oh, gosh, probably $70.
Okay, very close to that. It was like 59 and change.
Yeah.
And we're fortunate and not fortunate we've earned this.
Yeah.
And that we're able to afford that.
Yeah.
Okay, we've earned it. But it was $59 for that for brunch.
Yeah, and then the tip. I mean, because you don't want to.
Because you feel obligated.
You feel obligated because you know that that's a big part of the wait staff's income.
Right.
Is tip, and so people should be tipping at least 20%, and because everybody's kind of been going through all the financial struggles, and so it's like some people have been fortunate to have weathered everything very well, but still, those people should, I mean, I shouldn't say should do more, because I'm sure everybody does do as much as they can, but it's important to think about that when you go out to restaurants. But when it's the 4 of us, if the kids get, a lemonade, they both get lemonades.
You're well over $100.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Easily.
Right.
It's crazy. And we don't even drink. We rarely will have alcohol with our meals, because if we have alcohol with it,
you're over $200.
$12 drink, $16 drink. Like, it's crazy.
Right.
So we'll just wait.
Owen Ronayne giving you some props.
Hey, Owen. Funny story about Owen.
Okay.
What many people don't know about me is I used to be a national professional paintball commentator.
No way!
And Owen, I worked with Owen for the MPPL. He was with Angel.
You were a national professional paintball commentator?
I was.
How did you get that gig?
Oh my gosh. I
had no idea about that.
Yeah. It was like in college and just after college. One of our family friends had a company called Paintball Brothers down in Jacksonville.
Okay.
And he needed somebody to go to learn how to work on this paintball gun that was an Angel brand. Okay. In Huntington Beach.
So you're a beta tester.
I'm a beta tester. I never even played paintball. I didn't even play paintball. I had no idea anything about it. So I fly out to Huntington Beach, and I meet Owen and all of the people with Angel. And Angel was a big part of like the MPPL, and they had a big team that was from like Sweden, I think. Okay. I forget, the Joy Division team. Okay. And I met them and I worked in the booth with them for a while and sold like shirts when I wasn't doing the class.
I had no idea.
During the event. Yeah, and then I started doing the event and I would do some commentating right when the players would come off the field, just ask them questions. I think one time I was in a magazine. I think one time I was on ESPN. This is a long time ago. This is like way early 2000s.
So, Owen, you see, tell me if I'm right here. Owen, you see a beautiful lady who can think on her feet, has the gift of communication, and is very likable and approachable, and you're like, put her in the effing booth. Is that pretty much what happened? Is that what happened?
It's kind of what happened.
And how deep did you go into paintball commentating?
I traveled around. I went to Boston.
You
I went to
did not.
Tampa. I went to Denver. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was the Series 7. So there were 7 different locations where we traveled and did these events. So
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Prince Michelle Vineyard is watching the broadcast. Sally Bishop Mickelson is giving you some props right now. So we've gone 45 minutes and we have not mentioned one of my favorite brands in the space, Uncle Yogi's.
Uncle Yogi's.
What's going on with Uncle Yogi's? First, tell folks what Uncle Yogi's is.
So Uncle Yogi's is a wellness brand for CBD. So we actually have Uncle Yogi's, and then we're launching another brand that's golf specific called Caddy.
Okay.
Kadii. And we've got a cool logo. I think I sent that to you.
You did.
And the 2 brands, the reason why we're doing 2 is one we want to have that's more kind of laser focused to a specific industry, and that's golf, because of the ad spend, everything is a lot more. And plus, there's not a really good golf brand.
Okay.
In the
for CBD.
Yeah, and we're gonna do from the transdermal patches, we're doing K-tape that's infused with CBD and Delta 8. So we're doing both because Delta 8 actually has some really good pain healing properties. So Uncle Yogi's, we're doing skincare products, we're doing pain sticks, and just overall day-to-day. So we've got capsules that you can take in the morning that'll take the pain away for 8 hours. We're doing gummies, we're doing patches, just all kinds of really cool stuff. But what's kind of been taking so long is that it's really hard to find a good company.
Okay.
So there's a lot. The ones in the gas stations.
Bad news.
Bad news.
Okay.
We actually have a friend that got a CBD product, and he took it, and he seriously thought he was going to go blind. Like, who knows what was actually in it? And it was being sold at a store, not a gas station, but like at one of the CBD tobacco stores.
Okay.
So it's really hard to find companies that have, whole hemp products that don't have, pesticides and that are truly using good, all natural, organic, and that's the problem. And then if you find one, then they can only do, one thing. And so then you're trying to piecemeal everything together. And so we finally have found the right partners, and we're just waiting to get samples back. And we're actually working with Royal Labs out of Charleston. And so really cool story. If you guys check out their website, Paul met his wife. His parents owned, I think the story was his parents owned like a pharmacy or like a holistic health center up in, I think, Boston or somewhere up in New England. And then his wife is from Ecuador. And so her family was really big with herbal healing and the medicinal properties and all natural ingredients. And so I think the story was like their hands brushed over a bag of beans or something. Like it was some like cute little.
And they got married.
Yeah, so they ended up getting married, and they got their first piece of equipment to make cosmetics from like a blender from a hand-me-down from like somebody else, and they both went to school for it, and they have great products. And they actually work with CBDMD. They do Merle Norman, like a lot of really big companies that are international.
Okay.
Doing skincare and products that they don't just do CBD, they do everything.
Okay.
So they're actually going to be making our products. So we've worked out formulations with them because we wanted to do things that are more proprietary versus just something that you can get from anybody with just a different sticker on it.
But your model is different than a lot of models in that you're not necessarily planning a brick and mortar point of sale.
No.
You're, is it a wholesaler
Yeah.
that has an online retail component?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's cheaper online. And, you know, a perfect example was I went out to Bandon Dunes to play golf with my dad.
Okay.
And
Where's that?
It's in Oregon.
Okay.
And wanted to try the CBD that they have in that golf shop out there. And it was $120 for half an ounce. Like this tiny little bottle.
But to your point, the pro shop is factoring in personnel, labor, overhead, electric, and all this stuff.
What do you
into
think
the price
it was
point.
online?
Half that?
$45.
Wow.
So that's the difference
shows
in
you
the
the
markup,
markup.
that happens.
Yeah.
So, you know, being able to get those things online. And then what we're wanting to do that's a little bit different is we're wanting to do these, we're calling them picnic baskets.
Okay.
With Uncle Yogi's, where you can actually buy baskets. They're cheaper, and you get them on kind of a membership. So it'll come monthly or every 2 months, whatever you request.
So almost like the Birchbox of CBD.
Birchbox, Dollar Shave Club,
Yeah,
like
that's
any
brilliant.
of those type things.
So you're talking like, you know, maybe it's $29.95 a month,
Mm-hmm.
and then $29.95 a month gets you a handful of samples.
Mm-hmm.
And if you enjoy that sample, then you have a call to action in the box that says you can buy it here on the website.
Yeah, and
That's
you can
brilliant.
get, you know, a 30-day supply.
That's brilliant.
Because the biggest thing with
You should totally do that.
Yeah, we're really excited about all of it, truly, and being able to, because the biggest thing with CBD, it's like taking your vitamins, right? And so if you don't take them consistently and every day, it doesn't help you heal,
right?
And if you start doing research, because there's so many people, there's like a pain management group that's on Nextdoor, and someone was like, well, unless it has this, you know, FDA approval, and if it doesn't have this, and this, then, you know, I don't know what to do with it. But the thing that, and I think we've talked about this before, is that our body has cannabinoid receptors. Every mammal on this planet has cannabinoid receptors. We don't have Advil receptors. We don't have ibuprofen receptors. Like, we don't have these things are specifically
drugs.
built. Yeah. But we have things that, you know, accept those different cannabinoids coming in through the CBD products. And so being able to, you know, use those to help our body heal, which is really, you know, the way you have to think about it, is because our bodies are broken. I mean, every day we put
wear and tear
crap into them. And so getting in that routine to help your body heal is what we're trying to educate and teach people.
So this is a good question from Grayson on Twitter. Grayson watches the show all the time. Jerry, your guest said she doesn't want to trade time for money. Can you ask her how she's managing her time with all the iron she has in the fire?
Saying no.
Yeah, is that,
yes.
You've gotten really good at saying no?
Really good. I used to be really bad at it. So I have my times that are protected.
Okay.
And nothing happens during those times.
Okay.
And like my phone has a bedtime setting that's like really early bedtime setting, but no calls can go through.
Sure. What time is that for you? Mine's set at 1:15.
In the morning?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you know I don't sleep.
Yeah. Mine goes on at like 6.
Okay.
So
6 p.m.?
But only family can come through.
Okay.
So like a family call, and my dad always gets through.
Okay.
Like dad will call
Jeff
all the time.
What's he want to talk about?
Everything, nothing. Did you go out to the house today? What are the contractors doing? What's Shane up to? Is Shane getting the permits done? I'm like, all the time. First thing.
Jeff is retired.
I know. He says he's retired, but he's not retired.
So he's still working? Is he still doing contracting or building custom cabins?
He's on me.
Oh, gotcha.
He's managing me all the time.
I'm sure you love that.
Yes.
Oh.
No, but he's he's a savior with the cabin, the renovations. Like he's brought it. We couldn't find lumber, but luckily through his contacts, we were able to find lumber, and they hooked us up through his old contacts at Better Living. Helped us out, and he's got a framing crew that stepped in when our builder's crew wasn't available, and he's really helpful. Yeah, it's really helpful.
How would you characterize? Let's go very micro. Central Virginia. How long have you been doing real estate? 17 years.
17 years.
Right.
Yep. I mean, I feel like I've kind of always been since I was
Just 'cause you
tiny.
grew up in
Because
it?
Dad,
Right.
you know, I'm swinging hammers and putting in floors, and I remember doing drywall.
Sure.
And Mom was a real estate agent, so I kind of
didn't
feel
know
like
that.
I've always.
Okay.
Yep. So I feel like I've always kind of been around it.
But 17 years in business for yourself.
Yeah.
How would you characterize this market in your 17-year
man.
perspective? Because this market
It's
is
hard.
bananas, right?
It's hard.
Okay.
It's hard to be an agent in this market. It's hard to be a buyer's agent
Okay.
in this market.
Okay.
Because
And that's what you specialize in, right?
No,
You're a
I do
seller's agent?
listings.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Buyers are. I mean, I would refer them out at this point. I mean, I'm working with buyers, and I don't want to totally say that, but
select buyers,
Yeah.
friends, family.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's just really hard because the number of offers and the properties, the number of contracts that you're looking at, probably 5 to 7 contracts or offers that you're writing before one actually gets accepted. Like, we just had a client
That's brutal.
I had a client that just closed on a house in Stanton.
Okay.
And this is talking about the cost of living in Charlottesville versus Stanton, because we couldn't find
Something in the price range in Charlottesville.
nothing.
So you had to go 50 minutes away.
Yep.
Okay.
And we were so lucky to get a new construction that I think they went up like 10,000 over asking price.
Damn, in
Ended up
Stanton.
getting in Stanton.
I mean, Stanton's cool. Downtown Stanton's really awesome and charming. Loves has a good little bar scene that I like to hop around. But 10K over list?
Yeah. 10K list. This is cool though. It's a cool house. Like, it's walking distance to all of the neat parts of Stanton.
How's
but-
the price points and what you get for those price points compared to Charlottesville, Albemarle, and Stanton?
So that house in Charlottesville, Albemarle, it was like a 202 house.
Okay.
And in Charlottesville, it'd be a 389 to 425.
Okay, so what are we talking, like less than 1,500 square feet?
Yeah.
Okay, so 3-bedroom, 2-bath
Yep.
on like a 0.15, 0.2?
Yeah. About
Yeah.
that. This one, the
So
Stanton
that
house
might
actually
be-
had the Stanton house actually had a great view too. Like, it has this gorgeous view over the city.
Okay, so that might be in Charlottesville
Yeah.
over 4.
Yeah.
Is it healthy, what's happening here? Are you worried about any kind of collapse? Do we need interest rates to go up to stabilize? I mean, lumber is finally going down, which thank God, because when lumber 4X's, that's going to impact everything.
Yeah.
I'm worried about gas.
Yep.
I'm worried about the fact that there's not enough subs out there to get projects done, which you've already
Oh,
touched on.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on here?
This is the thing about Charlottesville.
Okay.
Even when the market crashed. I mean,
Okay.
think about this.
You're
Do you
saying
remember back in,
08, 09?
Yeah, 08, 09. So
Okay.
it was just funny because I was in Florida. I came back to Charlottesville in 07.
Okay.
The market already crashed in Florida. So, because it was,
Snowbirds?
that's where most of the bad stuff happened. Like the fraudulent loans. Like my first loan, the first company I worked for was called Liberty Home Loan Corporation. They're gone now. They got, they did a bunch of the fraud stuff. And I remember I had to make 100 phone calls a day and get people's social security number over the phone. So think of the quality, education level, and I was getting them. People were giving them to me. And these people, so I'm getting them over the phone, and then the whole pitch was, all right, so you pay, right now you pay, $900 a month.
Okay.
So what I'll do is I'll take all of your debt. So those collection companies that call you all the time?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, I hate those. I hate those. I was like, well, we'll get them paid off. We'll get your student loans paid off. We'll pay off your car. We'll get the repossessions, the judgments, everything paid off.
Okay.
And then your mortgage is going to come down to like $650 a month.
Okay.
$650. Does that sound
So
good,
they're
right?
consolidating all your debt.
Yeah.
All your debt.
Yeah.
And then they're lowering your monthly payment $250.
Yes, that sounds awesome, right?
Okay, but if I got that
here's the
pitch, I would be
kicker.
like, this is bullshit.
But here's the kicker.
Okay.
So I finally go out to my first appointment.
Okay.
And I go out to this place called Palatka.
Okay.
And the guy...
That's in Florida?
In Florida.
Okay.
And outside Jacksonville.
Okay.
And I'm sitting down, and they didn't tell me how to read a credit report. They didn't tell me how to do any of this stuff. And I have to get him to sign the loan application to start all of his paperwork and get his documents. And I'm like looking at it, and his mortgage is like $325, right? And so I'm looking, I was like, he's not it's like 0, 30, 60, 120.
Okay.
And I'm like,
what do you mean 0, 60?
On the credit report.
Okay, gotcha.
So I'm looking at it and I was like, so these must be lates.
Okay.
Like these are his late payments.
Okay.
And I was like, so he's not paying his car payment. He's not paying his credit cards. He's not paying any of these payments. The only payment that's current is his house payment. So I asked the guy, I said, before I get you to sign this, I said, can you make this $650 a month payment? And he's like, well, I mean, I might have to pick up some extra hours and I might have to do it. And I was like, that's not what I'm asking. I was like, can you make this payment
like
every
right
month?
now?
Yeah. I was
with
like,
what you're earning?
Is this comfortable for you?
And he said no.
And he said no. And I said, I'm not going to let you sign this. And I went back to that company and I quit. And I was like, what you guys are doing is awful. I said, I said, I'm brand new to this industry, and I see that this is bad.
Right.
I was like, this is bad. And so many people did it because they didn't know any better. And and then you saw what happened to the market. And that's what happened. Because it sounded good on the surface, and it would have taken all of his debts, and it would have paid everything off. But when that's the only thing that you're paying, because that's the only thing you can afford, then he's willing to lose his car. He's willing to lose his other stuff.
Well, then why was he willing to do it? Just because he didn't know any better?
Because he didn't know.
Yeah, Jesus.
He didn't know any better. Because, I mean, there's the people that we were getting their social security numbers.
They're giving to you over the phone.
Over the phone to a complete stranger with their date of birth. And it's like, come on,
So when you went back to the office and said, this is wrong, what did the bosses say? It was like, we're making money hand over fist?
Yeah, they're like, well, it's not our problem. It's like, it is your problem because they're coming to you. You're the one that's supposed to be guiding them. Right. I was like, you're not.
Right.
I said, what you're doing is wrong. Like, this is wrong. And I filed a complaint. And I ended up talking to the people down in Tampa, which was where the headquarters was, and like nothing ended up happening. And I was like, whatever, like you guys, I've done what I could do. But this was right out of college. This was like my first week out of college.
So from there, you then go and get your realtor license, or you already had it?
So no, I didn't have it.
Okay.
So then I went and I was a mortgage broker. Then I finally went to buy my first house. So this was in 2005. So a year out of college, I bought my first house. Okay. And we used the listing agent.
Okay.
Didn't know any better, even though I was in the mortgage industry. So we buy this house, and I was like, well, it needs...
So the listing agent had both sides of the deal?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, can we ask for repairs? Because we see some, like, damage. Can we ask for, like, a lower price? And he was like, no. He's like, she's not going to take anything less, and they're not going to fix it. And I was like, well, like, can we, like, have somebody look at this house? And he's like, no, it has to be as is. Had no clue that I could get a home inspection, I could ask for repairs, negotiate price.
Yeah, right.
Like, no idea.
Sure.
2 HVAC units later, a $13,000 metal roof because it's in a historic property, so you have to put a new metal roof on. I mean, we just got completely, drugged through the mud with that. And at that point, I was like, man, this realtor was terrible. And this was another, like, awful situation. So I was like, I'm getting my license to help as many people not deal with this crap as I possibly can. Did
you have to get the license? Well, obviously you got it in Florida. How does it work for getting it in Virginia? Is that pretty easy?
They have reciprocity with Virginia, so it's easy. Not all states have it, but Virginia was pretty easy. Okay. So I just had to take the, I think the state exam, which was easy.
And when you moved to Charlottesville, that's when I think you and I met for the first time, and then you started crushing.
Yeah,
like out of the gate.
Yeah, it was fun, but then it was hard
because you had no life.
No life at all, and that's when I really, I ended up getting a real estate coach. My real estate coach helped me start protecting my time.
Right.
Then I started my business like tripled or quadrupled at that point, and then I kind of did it all. I was like, I've kind of done everything I want to do. Like I've hit all the goals that I've ever. I don't want to have a huge team. I don't want to own a real estate brokerage. I don't want to do that stuff. So I kind of hit everything. Then that's when I started thinking about coaching because it was so impactful for me. Well, then I got back into getting on other people's schedules, which I didn't want to do because I was missing the kids' school stuff again because I had a coaching call set up at this time, which was the same every week.
Trading time for money.
Yeah. And that's when I decided to kind of get back out of that. And then I was building an automation business where I really built this great automation platform for real estate. But then I couldn't get any agents to
pay for it.
No, I didn't even care if they paid for it. I was giving it to them for free. But
so the automation business, is it something like where like, because you're well-spoken, you're in front of the camera, you're offering coaching tips, and then they can...
No.
Okay, how did it go?
No. It was like a real estate lead comes in.
Okay.
They get a voice message through an app called Slide Dial that goes directly into their inbox. They get an email throughout the transaction process. Like if a house goes under contract or you have a new client, they're getting educated at specific increments throughout the process. So like the very first email is like, congratulations on having your home under contract. The next step is we're going to schedule the home inspection. Should something come up in the home inspection, I'm going to send you an email in a couple days and we're going to kind of go through how to handle that.
Sure.
So then a couple days later, they get another email. It talks about the pitfalls of home inspections, how some things aren't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like PEX plumbing, like different, just little stupid mold. Like sometimes mold's a big deal, but it can all be fixed.
Sure.
And, but sometimes people, or realtors even, they, see that and they're like, oh, this is dead. We can't do anything. Everything's on fire. It's like, it's not. So if you set that precedent on the front end, then, because the way I felt is that if people were calling me or my clients were calling me, I wasn't doing a good enough job educating them through the process.
Setting expectations.
Yeah, and I don't want people calling me. I hate my phone.
Right, me too.
Yeah, so if I can get them those answers, it's terrible.
Just send me a text, please. Anybody that's watching, just send me a text.
I hate answering texts.
Please, dear God, send me a text. You would rather do the text than the phone call, though, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because everything can be done for the most part just via text.
It can, but if I'm telling people, educating them through the process, then they know what to do.
Sure.
And then they're not, so confused. And
so this is like a textbook almost.
It was through a company called Active Campaign, and so
So you're responsible for getting the leads and then being the compass or the North Star throughout the deal.
Well, what happened is, so I can, how nerdy do you want me to get?
I will get super nerdy. I love this stuff. I love this stuff.
So you use these, there's a program called Zapier. I mean, people say it 100 different ways.
Okay.
And so what that does is it utilizes an API.
Okay.
And so you take Active Campaign into a Zap.
Okay.
And then you take the API through this other program, whether it's like Zillow, and then you set it over to all of these if-thens. So whatever that like little if-then path you've created through Active Campaign, the Zap will initiate that through Zillow. So when a lead comes in, that lead drops into this funnel. And based off of their actions, they'll go a different route all the way through. And sometimes they just go away. And if it's a fake name or a fake something, it just goes away.
Okay.
But what it does is, especially with real estate, and if you're paying for leads, sometimes you're getting hundreds of leads a day. You can't call all of those.
Sure.
But if you create these systems that are
vetting
all automated,
them.
and it's giving them phone calls, and it's giving them emails, and it's giving them all kinds of different things automatically, they're going to respond. It's giving them text messages. So then they're going to respond. And it's not just real estate. You can literally use that program to automate any business.
Any business service.
Yeah. And so it keeps you're educating people and you're staying on the forefront instead of getting behind and having to explain.
So why didn't that take off?
So I would give it to people for free because I wanted to do beta testing.
Okay.
Every day, it was a 2.5-minute video for them to do one task.
Okay.
For 28 days to completely automate their business. You could move through it as fast as you wanted, and nobody made it through.
Really?
2.5 minutes. Everybody, and a lot of the people that came through, they're like, I'm so busy, I just can't get around to it. I'm like, you aren't even selling one house a month.
Right.
What are you doing?
Right.
Like, you're not too busy to do this, and especially with new agents. Like, if you build those systems on the front end, then you don't have to do all the work on the back end. And then you have a higher level of customer service. And that's what they weren't understanding, is that this isn't for you. This is for your client, because this is you creating a higher level of customer service for your client. And it blew my mind. And then I just kind of gave up on real estate agents, to be honest. I'm like, they don't want to do it. Like, nobody wants to put in the work. And so it's just, I'm giving you this
playbook,
gold mine for free.
Right.
That I've spent hours, I spent months on it. And they're like, unless I implemented it for them, which I was not going to do, then they just weren't going to do it.
How about this question from Stephen? Is it Lakecaster, Stephen? I'm sorry if I'm saying your last name right. Jerry, ask your guest if she can go back in time and tell herself 10 years ago what she would do differently. What would she do differently? I
would have started buying a house a year 10 years ago.
Earlier?
Yeah. And, creating that passive income.
Right.
Because it's, that becomes freedom, right? That's your freedom.
Sure, that's your base.
Yeah.
Which allows you to try new things.
Yeah.
How difficult was it to get and if I'm going too far into a personal standpoint, let me know. But how difficult is it to get like the financing for a house every year? Or is it the cash flow that's churning from each property that's justifying it with the lender?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
So they're like, you have a proof of performance for this?
Yeah. Well,
so
you
we'll
have
let
to
you
have
scale.
2 years.
Okay.
So you have to, which I've had rental income because the Florida house, we ended up, because the market tanked, we couldn't sell it. So we had it as a rental for 10, 11 years, finally sold it a couple years ago.
Okay.
So I had rental income on my tax returns. So it was easy for me to add new rental income to count that as income. And they're only going to count 75% of it. So if you have, $1,000, they're only going to count $750 towards your debt servicing, I guess.
Yeah, your debt servicing. Yeah.
So it's, and Airbnb is a little bit different, but once you have a track record with that too, it's all aggregated into one thing.
Okay, so I'm learning now from you here. So mine, we talk about this a lot on the show. We got 24 tenants, and mine are long term. So is the Airbnb revenue
3 to 4 times?
Okay, is it seen by the lender as a riskier revenue as opposed to a long-term lease revenue?
I don't think so.
So the lender does not care? I guess the lender doesn't care because they see how much you're making.
Yeah. You're making 3 or 4 times.
One-year lease.
Yeah.
Interesting. Huh.
Like literally, and you can go stay there. Like,
right, you can stay there.
Yeah, and if you start, like our next plan, like we've looked at buying a short-term rental in like the Outer Banks or Virginia Beach or in the Bahamas, like those are the next goals. Is so where do we want to go that can be making money that we can go anytime we want when we block off our weekends.
The Outer Banks one intrigues me so much.
Yeah.
My buddy has one, and he's like, the summer season pays for everything with the house.
Yeah.
And then he and his family just chill with it for the rest of the year and don't even try to rent it.
Yeah, and there's certain parts of the Outer Banks, like near, is it Cordova, the place just north of Corolla?
Okay, you know more about this.
So you have to drive on the beach to get up there. But
that's where we stay, like in Duck.
Past further north than Duck.
Okay.
So you go.
Okay, sorry, Judith.
Yeah. So you keep going up further. It's Cordova. It's like right before there's the fence, like the big fence. You can't cross the fence on the beach.
Okay.
And you drive in those huge dunes, and it's cool because you're like on a sand road, and it's like, oh, there's a fire station. And it's like kind of weird, and the wind's blowing, and there's no trees, and sometimes a horse runs out.
Well, how hard is it to find the properties to purchase in?
It's not hard. But what my point is those up there are a lot less expensive.
Okay.
So, but it's all growing up that way. So that you can get a beachfront piece of property that's out of the X flood zone because of those like huge dunes in there.
Sure.
But have beach access for like 600 and some odd thousand.
Okay.
Versus if you're going to get like a beachfront in Corolla, you're probably over $1 million.
Plus, easily.
Yeah.
Easily. So let's call it $700K. Let's say it's a 4% interest rate. You're going to pay a little higher than market because it's not your primary residence. Your monthly nut mortgage-wise
but you can get the second home is not that different.
Really?
Yeah.
The second home, it's still higher than market, right?
No.
It's equivalent to market the rate?
It's pretty freaking close. I think it's equivalent.
Okay. Okay, so $700K, your monthly not mortgage alone is probably just under $3K. And then you have,
You make that up in like half a week.
Right, that's what I was going to say. Let's say you add the insurance and all that other crap. Probably, let's just conservatively call it $5K a month. And that's probably inflated. That's definitely inflated. So $5K a month, the weekly rental.
Those up there, I mean, they're in the busy season are like $8,000 to $12,000 a week.
Yeah, Jesus.
Like depending on the size of the house, like it's crazy.
What is the only downfall of the idea?
Hurricanes.
Besides
That's
flooding?
what insurance is. You know, it's just. I don't think there is one. You just want to make sure when you buy a house up there that it's, you know, hardy plank. It's things that aren't going to rot. You know, have the what have I seen up there? I've seen like laundry outside, and there's brand new washing machines are just eaten up by rust. And so, you know, having everything inside climate control.
The laundry machines outside?
Outside.
That seems like common sense. Don't do that.
It does, but you know, common sense isn't common anymore, right?
And their birthday over the phone. Regina Alpal loves you on the show when you came on. She says, I'm in, love driving on the beach.
Yep, Regina goes with us down to Outer Banks.
She does?
Yeah.
Okay, very nice, Regina.
Yep.
All right, so why don't we do this? I thoroughly enjoy chatting with you. We're 70 minutes in. You're a very pleasant interview. It must come from your experience in the professional national paintball league.
Not
paintball league, right? Paying dividends. All right.
Can just talk about things I have no idea about.
You can talk about just about everything. You're very Renaissance. All right, this is the toughest question I'm going to ask you. Give some advice or some words of wisdom or some kind of message to everybody that's watching. She's got 2 kids.
Yeah, single. You know, I've done the single mom thing, and and to be able to balance both, but it's possible. I mean, it's possible.
Okay.
So what's the question?
So the question is, give us some advice. We're all clinging to your every word here.
You just have to make a decision and do it. And, you know, there's a book called Aspire.
Aspire?
And it's
writing this down.
Yeah, it's a really good book by, oh gosh, what is that guy's name?
I'm Googling it.
Yeah, well, when you find it.
Kevin Hall?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I met him.
Okay, discovering your purpose through the power of words.
Through the words. And so the word decide, so the root part is side, which is to kill off.
Okay.
So when you decide something, you're killing off all other possibilities and options.
Okay.
And so you just have to make a decision that this is what I'm going to do. Like I decided that I am going to buy 1 house a year.
That's awesome.
And I've done it. And there's nothing that has gotten in the way or can get in the way. And that becomes as important as, you know, breathing.
Yeah.
And with protecting my time, I have decided that this is my time and I'm going to protect it like it's a doctor's appointment. Like you're not going to let other people come into your space when you've got a doctor's appointment scheduled. Like people have no problem, like, no, I've got a doctor's appointment, I have to reschedule. But do that with your personal time too. And you will have much more freedom because the time when you do focus on your work, you're focused on your work. And, you know, make a bunker, to get rid of your cell phone, you know, bring food and water and get your stuff done during that time. Because even with real estate, if you can just focus for 2 hours a day on real estate, on lead generation, you will have more business than you can possibly need. And, you know, success is simple, but not easy. And so it's just, you know, being able to focus during those little times that make the biggest difference. So that's it.
That was good. Drop of knowledge, Val. She's awesome. Next time we have you back, hopefully with Arthur, to talk Uncle Yogi's.
Yep.
So Uncle Yogi's is...
We're getting close.
Yeah. What are we talking? How close are we talking? Super close?
I wish 2 weeks, but probably more like a month.
Okay, a month.
Yep.
And that frustrates the hell out of you, doesn't it?
It really does. Because it's like you have
move
a really
1,000 miles
good
an hour.
thing you want to share, but you can't share it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, she's awesome. For those that are asking, we have 2 people asking. The interview will be archived on all social media and on I Love CVille. I would encourage you guys to watch it from start to finish. Next time we'll have her back. We'll talk her CBD business that I think is going to blow up. In fact, that entire space is going to blow the hell up. I mean, I almost equate it to like craft beer scene when it was just like Star Hill and South Street in Charlottesville. And now anywhere you go in Central Virginia, it almost seems like there's a brewery.
Or what is that? White Claw.
White
like
Claw.
Sparkling seltzer.
Yeah. Are you a seltzer person?
Sometimes. I mean, I have my moments.
So it's like hot outside, it's lighter. Yeah, like seltzer. It's like seltzer. That's a perfect description. And the folks that are first to market or establish their brands with CBD are going to dominate when cannabis becomes all the rage very soon. That's the show. Thank you guys for joining us on a Thursday. We are back tomorrow at 10:15 with Real Talk with Keith Smith. If you love real estate, that's a fantastic show to watch. And the whole concept of the network, guys, is to make content approachable and fun on your phones so you enjoy it. I'm Jerry Miller for Valerie and for Judah. Have a good afternoon. Take care. Dude, you're so
cool.
awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's so easy. Some folks, it's not. It's hard.